I told you, you were 72% more likely to be successful if you used a specific brand of t-shirts to sell your print-on-demand designs on Etsy. I've spent some serious time researching 64 of the top performing listings on Etsy, and I have discovered the brand t-shirt that will make us 72% more likely to experience success. It is changing some of the decisions that I am making in my own shop, and it might change some of the decisions you're making in your shop. I don't know about you, but as for me, I'd rather work smarter and not harder. So in today's video, we're going to cover which t-shirt brand performs the best when selling women's t-shirts. We're going to be looking at the Gildan 6400, the Bella Canvas 3001, Comfort Colors 717, and then we're also going to be looking at what happens when you don't let the customer know what brand they're buying. Perhaps you're branding it yourself. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Or you're just leaving it ambiguous and you're not letting them know which brand that they're receiving and just calling it unisex tee. Then we're going to dig a little bit deeper and we're actually going to find out which of these brands sells best in specific niches, such as nurse, mom, and teacher. And then stick around to the end because we're also going to figure out whether or not we're allowed to use brands' names, their trademarks, such as Gildan or Bella Canvas or Comfort Colors, in our SEO, our title, or our tags. Is that infringement, or are we allowed to do that? And along the way, you'll discover how I did this research for myself so that you can do it in any niche or for any product that you want to. Today's motto is work smarter, not harder. Okay, let's dig right in. First things first, I went over to the Etsy search bar and I typed in shirts for women. I then filtered by store seller and replaced the word star up in my search bar with the word best so I could pull all the best sellers to the front. I went through 64 of the results, most of them on the first page, but I did have to skip any ads. And so I did dig onto that second page so that I could pull 64 results. Out of those 64 results, best sellers in the shirts for women category, I found 46 of those top performing listings on the page were Comfort Colors 1717. 14 of them were Bella Canvas t-shirts. 4 of them were ambiguous and just said unisex t-shirt. It didn't let the customer know what type of t-shirt that they would be receiving. 1 of them was a Gildan 5000 and none of them were Gildan 6400. And one of those search results was a sweatshirt that had somehow crept into my shirt search. So it must have been performing really well in order to have pulled into those search results. Now, additionally, let's talk about the fact that out of those 46 Comfort Color listings, 28 of them were using the term Comfort Colors in the most important area of the SEO, of your search engine optimization or your title and your tags. And that most important spot is the first 30 characters of your title because it's going to be visible right under your listing. So it gets a little more importance than the rest of your SEO. Out of the 46 that were Comfort Colors, we've got 28 of them that place the word Comfort Colors right at the front of their SEO. And then there were 10 more that did have the terms Comfort Colors somewhere in their title or their tags. It was either further back in their title or it was in their tags. So that means that 38 out of those 46 well-performing listings not only had a picture of a Comfort Colors shirt as their main mock-up photo, and were selling Comfort Colors, obviously, but also had the words Comfort Colors in their SEO, or that is to say, in their title or in their tags. There is a popular teacher shirt that says, "The math ain't mathin'," to encourage students to show their work. But I'm hoping that the math is mathin' in this video for you. Guys, that is to say, 38 listings out of those 46 Comfort Color listings comes to 82%. So 82% of them actually said in their SEO that they were comfort colors to help make it more discoverable in search when people are searching for their items. And remember, we actually looked at 64 top sellers in our search results. And out of those 64 listings, 46 of them are comfort colors. So that's 72% of these listings that showed up for me on the very first page and the top of the second page. 72% of those bestsellers, when I'm looking at shirts for women, are the brand comfort colors. And one more interesting stat for you here. 23 of those comfort color bestsellers were actually less than 3 months old. They were 1 and 2 months old. There were a bunch that were 3 to 6 months old, but I focused for the stats for this purpose on the ones that were even newer than that were only 1 to 3 months old. So really new listings, getting out there, getting ranked, getting bestseller badges on them. But now that begs the question, are we allowed to use the words comfort colors in our SEO, in our title, or in our tags? This is someone's trademarked brand. And if we are allowed to use the word comfort colors, should we be putting that little R with the circle around it? Because the majority of people that I see using it in their SEO are using that little circle with the R next to it. So to answer that question, let's head over to Printify. A lot of us are probably using Printify to fulfill these t-shirts. And they've got a nice little section here that helps give us some direction. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and take my advice from. So they've got a page here titled, "What should I keep in mind when selling branded products?" I'll leave this article linked down below in the description. They have top brands that we can sell our print-on-demand designs on, like Adidas, Champion, Comfort Colors, among others. So I do suggest taking a look at this entirety for yourself, but the ones that I felt applied to us under the do's, the very first one there says, you may use the brand name in your listing titles, descriptions, and tags, as long as it is clear to buyers that the product is not being sold by that brand. For example, use a format like your brand here, customize Adidas tee. In the second bullet there, it mentions you must follow each brand's specific print content guidelines and restrictions. These guidelines may vary by brand, so also review the Printify catalog listing and the Help Center. I did review the Printify catalog listing for Comfort Color 1717. I didn't see any additional information, and I didn't see any additional information in the Help Center. But of course, do your due diligence and take a look for yourself before using Comfort Colors in your SEO. And for the don'ts, the ones that I thought were pertinent to share with you at this moment, the first bullet there says, you may not use the brand name, logo, or other intellectual property such as trademark slogans in your designs. For example, you cannot use the Adidas logo in designs printed on an Adidas shirt. Secondly, you may not use symbols that indicate trademark ownership, such as that little circle with the R in your product title, description, or designs. However, you may use the brand name without including trademark ownership symbols in product titles, descriptions, and tags. So that is to say we should not be using that little R with the circle, according to what Printify is telling us here. And thirdly, they say you may not mislead customers about your relationship with the brand or imply any collaboration with them. This includes avoiding any infringement on the brand's intellectual property rights through your product designs, your store name, or your marketing content. Now we're going to dive into a couple of results that I got in specific niches, and those might surprise you, and it just goes to show you that it's worth doing this kind of research for whichever niche that you're working in. Now, before I go over and do that, if you've already been doing comfort colors in your shop, then I want you to go down into the comments and I want you to say, I've been working smarter, not harder. And if you're thinking, like myself, boy, I need to get on top of this comfort color thing, then you go down into the comments and write comfort colors for the win if you're going to start incorporating this into your Etsy shop. So let's take a look at the results that I got when I did the search nurse shirt. I pulled all those bestsellers to the front. I once again looked at 64 of the results. I'm going to share those results with you now. But before I do, I'm going to show you this cute little picture of my dog Tucker dressed like a nurse, just because I have it and just because I think he looks so cute like this. All right, but really enough of torturing Tucky. Let's get back to our results. When I did this search for nurses, what I thought was really interesting was how many sweatshirts came up into my shirt results. So that means these sweatshirts are doing really well in order for them to be pulled into my search results. Now, I am doing this video in March, so I assume sweatshirts are going to be doing better in March than maybe my results might be very different in like August. But I did get 28 of my results as sweatshirts. Stick around to the end of the video and I will tell you for all these sweatshirts that I've been getting, what brand was most popular and coming up. I'll give you a hint. It was either Comfort Colors or Gildan 18,000, but we'll loop back to that in a bit. So out of the 64 search results, I got 28 that were sweatshirts for nurses. I wound up with 8 Bella Canvas, 17 Comfort Colors, 1717, and 10 generic that the brand was not revealed in the listing. So once again, Comfort Colors was the winner when we're talking about shirts here. Also kind of makes me want to go do nurse sweatshirts from what I found here. But that generic number was pretty big also. So I am going to get to the results for teacher and for mom shirts. But before I do, I just wanted to dig a little into this with you with the generic listings where they're not telling you the type of shirt you're going to get. I was super surprised by how many top performing listings actually didn't tell you what type of brand shirt you were getting. I mean, I don't know about you, but I get asked sometimes, whether they're going to get a Gildan or they're going to get a Bella Canvas, or if I have Comfort Colors, because I don't have a whole lot of those currently listed in my shop. So as I was popping into these listings and looking at the sizing guides, they just said unisex t-shirts. Oftentimes they would have the regular crew neck available and a V-neck available. And then what I also noticed on some of them is that they had their own branding on the t-shirt in some of the mock-up photos. Not all of them showed that, but a couple of them did, which had me curious about that. So I am suspecting that these Etsy shops that are not sharing with us what brand shirt they are sending out, that they're probably branding their shirts, which you could do for pretty cheap with Printify. If you're interested in the products that you could add your own neck labels to, you can go into Printify, go to catalog. I'm going to go ahead and click on t-shirts. And then I get this filters button. I'm going to click on filters. I can actually filter out by branding, and I just want to know what's available in terms of neck labels. There's 21 results. So these are all options of where they would remove the neck label for me and put my own branding on the neck label. I can use the Gildan 5000 for this. I can use the Bella Canvas 3001, and I can also use the Gildan 64000. There's no Comfort Colors 1717 here, but I did see the Comfort Colors 6030 as one of our options. And you could do this for really cheap. For the Bella Canvas 3001, my production cost would be $11.07. I do have premium. If you want to check out Printify Premium, all of your prices are cheaper, considerably cheaper. I'll leave it linked down below, or you can just Google them. So with premium, with the production cost, without the neck label, it's $11.07. That's not including shipping. You'd add shipping after that. I think it's $3.99 if I remember right off the top of my head. With the branded label, my production cost comes to $11.78. So it really only costs around 70 cents to add the neck label. You also lose the ability to apply express shipping to that order if you're doing the neck label, so that's just something to consider. I do think this is a really interesting way to go. Don't feel overwhelmed if you're not doing that, and if you don't feel like doing it right now. I'm not doing it either, but I do think it's an interesting way and you're really it's really kind of bringing your whole business up a notch, because now it doesn't seem like you're selling someone else's shirts or a different brand. It's actually your brand inside the t-shirt. So it's just a really neat thing that we have access to. I do remember one time, I'm a former 4th grade teacher. Now I'm a full-time Etsy seller. So if you're in the hustle and the grind right now trying to get your Etsy shop going, don't give up. I've been there. I've done that. I'm just such a regular person, and here I am making multiple 6 figures on Etsy every year. You can do it too. And of course, I bought tons of teacher shirts right off of Etsy well before I ever became a person selling things on Etsy. And I remember one particular gray t-shirt fitting so well. I don't remember what the design was. And I didn't buy shirts based off of the brand. I was looking for shirts to help me teach my lessons, to get my students inspired, to get them excited. And so I was looking for designs. The design was the creative design. I'm going to go in there, look for math shirts, and I'm going to get that perfect division shirt that's like exactly what I needed to teach and was funny and was going to get my kids to laugh or to smile or get their attention. And I remember this one particular shirt just fit really well. And I was like, oh, I want to go see what other shirts this company has. And I remember the company being printed in the back of the label, and I was able to find the company again. Otherwise I would never have found them again, and I bought more shirts from them. So just a personal experience that does lead me to go, oh yeah, that's kind of cool. Maybe one day I'll do that. Quick side tangent, if you are interested in designing in the teacher niche, I did create a calendar and resource. I just updated the calendar and resource. If you've purchased it in the past, please don't repurchase it. Go look at your inbox. I've already emailed it back out to you. And I've added a 90-minute special exclusive video resource to go with that calendar and resource. The calendar and resource is broken down by month. It tells you exactly what sub-niches within the teacher niche you should be listing in, when you should be listing them by. It also gives you tons of ideas as far as products, different types of teachers, different types of staff members, lots of different ways you could make money in the teaching niche. It was really a work of art. And we are doing, for anyone who buys it by June 1st, you're going to be invited to a very special live session where we'll get to chat and we'll get to dive into the teacher niche a bit together. All right, I'll leave that link down below. And on your way down there, if you are finding value in this video, if you could take a second to like the button so I know that you're enjoying this content, that really helps direct me and what types of content to make next. And if you're not a subscriber yet and you're still here, you're enjoying this video, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss future content. Come hang out with me more often. If you're having fun with me over in the Learn and Earn community and you're one of my members over there, be sure to use the coupon code that's available over in the membership before heading over to purchase any of those calendar and resources. Okay, so while we're on the topic of the teacher niche, let's talk about the t-shirt that's dominating the bestsellers over there. Again, I assessed 64 listings. I found 26 of those 64 listings were indeed comfort colors. So not quite half, but pretty close. 6 of them wound up being sweatshirts that made it into my search results. 17 were Bella Canvas, 3001, and 15 of them were the vague, universal, we don't know what t-shirt we're getting. Probably they're using their own branding in them. I've also got the Bachelorette for you, and I've got the Mama niche for you. So when I looked up Bachelorette shirts and I looked at all of the bestsellers there, we've got, again, 64 search results. And out of those 64 search results, 4 of them were the generic, possibly it's the branded t-shirt from the Etsy shop. 6 of them were Bella Canvas. 49 of them were comfort colors. It just dominated in the Bachelorette scene over there. One was like a tight little crop top, and the other was a fitted tank that I don't think we even would have available to us on print on demand. At least I don't think so. I haven't seen it. And 3 of them were sweatshirts. Last but not least is the Mama shirts. And as we are making this video here, we're probably all getting our Mother's Day types of designs up. Again, I looked at 64 listings, and out of those 64 listings, 8 of them were the generic, we don't know what brand we're getting. 7 of them were Bella Canvas. 38 of them were, you guessed it, comfort colors. And 11 of them were sweatshirts. I think it'd be really cool if you wouldn't mind doing this kind of research in a niche and sharing with us what were the results you got. Did you find a niche where the Comfort Colors shirt is maybe not dominating? I'd be super curious about that. I did tease you earlier and told you to stick around to the end so that you would know what type of sweatshirt I saw was the most prevalent throughout these search results, because I did get a number of sweatshirts popping up. The sweatshirt that I saw popping up the most was the Gildan 18,000, and I did see some Comfort Color sweatshirts. Now, I didn't really pay attention too much to those stats. I was really searching for the brand of shirt, but I did notice that it was definitely the Gildan 18,000 that was popping up the most. If you are a member over in the membership, after this video, I want you to go watch the trend report for March, because we dig a little more deeply and we look into specifically what colors I was noticing was selling well on these Comfort Colors. So now we know, in order to work smarter and not harder, we might want to try to sell people the shirt that they're really wanting to buy, it looks like, and that would be Comfort Colors. So it might be something we want to add to our shops. But just adding Comfort Colors t-shirts to your shops will not make you successful. What really is going to make you successful, and I've got the big secret here for you, well, it's going to take me a long time to explain, so actually let's talk about that in this video here, but don't click on that until after that tip from Tucker. Tucker, take it away!